Today I will discuss about the limit of a function. But first, let's have a short background. So I have here a picture of a skydiver. So the air resistance prevents the velocity of the skydiver to increase indefinitely. Hence, the velocity of the skydiver will reach a limit, and that limit is called the terminal velocity, or simply its maximum velocity that it can be attained. So the concept of limit is the fundamental building block on which all calculus concepts are based. So in this lesson, you will learn how to determine the limits of a function. So now, let me introduce to you how we create a notation for the limit of a function. So now let's have f of x as our function, and let a and l be represent as constants or numbers. So if we can make f of x as we please by choosing x sufficiently close to a, then we say that the limit of f of x as x approaches a is L. So ang ibig sabihin lang naman nun is magte-take tayo ng values ng x nearer or closer to a, and then we can get the value of its limit. So let's try the example. So we have here the function f of x equals 3x plus 1. So we are going to assign values near but not equal to 2. So pwedeng a little less or a little more. So we have 1.99, 1.89, or 2.09, and 2.05. So the table shows that when x is near 2, so kapag yung value ng x natin is malapit sa 2, ano yung mapapansin natin sa value ng f of x natin? So the value of f of x is nearer to 7. So in other words, we say that 3x plus 1 approaches the number 7 as a limit when x approaches 2. So ganun lang naman yung sa limit natin. So pero meron tayong tinatawag na one-sided limit. So ang ibig sabihin ng one-sided limit is ina-evaluate mo yung limit ng function on one side only. So, paano ba yung sinasabing one side only? So, halimbawa nitong notation na to na x approaches a positive. So, yung a positive dito is nag-i-indicate na ang tinetest mo is, or ang ginagamit mong value para kay x is greater than a. So, halimbawa dito, so kung kukunin natin yung limit ng function, so ang gagamitin lang nating values for x is greater than 2. So, that is the one-sided limit for a positive. So, pagdating naman kay a negative, yung we will be taking values of x sufficiently close to a but less than a. So, then we write, so this one. So, kung for example, we have the limit of, we are going to determine the limit of the absolute value of x divided by x as x approaches to 0. So, disregard nyo muna itong symbol. So, kung gagamitin natin yung one-sided limit, so, una, kunin natin yung positive. So, halimbawa, ang itetest nating values is values ng x na greater than 0. So, let's say 0.01. So, 0.01. So, if we are going to substitute the value of 0.01, so 0.01 divided by 0.01. So, the absolute value of 0.01 is 0.01 also. So, this is equal to 1. On the other hand, if we are going to choose values of x that is less than 0, so let's say x is equal to negative 0.1. So if we are going to substitute this to the given function, we have the absolute value of negative 0.1 divided by negative 0.1. So this is equivalent to negative 1. So you can notice that there is a difference between the two one-sided limits. So now, what is the importance or the relationship between one-sided and two-sided limits? So now, the two-sided limit of a function f of x exists at a if and only if both of the one-sided limits exist at a. So, nag-i-exist lang daw yung limit ng function natin kung yung one-sided limits natin is nag-i-exist din both dun sa a positive and a negative and have the same value. So, dapat, kapag in-evaluate natin yung a negative and then a positive, dapat iisa lang yung ibibigay niyang answer. So, dito, yung function na to, yung limit niya does not exist. Since, hindi the same yung value nung one-sided limits niya. So, we have here 8 theorems on limits. So, ayan. So, for L1, the limit of C as x approaches to A is C. So, since itong theorem 1 natin is yung C is any constant. So, ibig sabihin, kahit anong value mo ng x, 'di ba, kung ang equation mo ay y is equal to 8, so any value ng x ang i-take mo, hindi magbabago yung value ni y since it is a constant. And then yung a natin is any real number and then n is any positive integer. So kumbaga dito yung theorem natin is sinisimplify lang niya so the limit of x as x approaches to a is equal to a, and then the limit of c times f of x. So yung c dito is just merely a coefficient so pwede nating ilabas yun and then kunin natin yung limit nung f of x as x approaches to a. So, later on, mas maganda i-apply na natin para mas maintindihan nyo. So, yan. Susundin nyo lang naman yung yung binigay na theorem. So, let's say, sa sum, so, pwede natin kunin yung individual limits ng kada function and then saka na natin siya ipag-add. So, ganun din naman sa multiplication and for division. So, pagdating naman din sa may radical sign, pwedeng kunin natin yung limit ng radicand, yung nasa loob, saka natin kukunin yung nth root. And then, lastly, so sa power rule, pwedeng i-evaluate din natin muna yung limit ng base, saka natin i-evaluate yung degrees niya or yung power. So, ayan. For example, we are going to evaluate the limit of x squared plus 3x plus 4 as x approaches to 2. So, ayan. Kukunin natin yung individual limits ng kada term. Ayan. So, yan. Naka-indicate naman na yung ginamit na theorems. So, ayan. Pag sinimplify siya, that is 14. So, the limit of x squared plus 3x plus 4 as x approaches to 2 is equal to 14. So, note that the limits of the functions can be obtained by direct substitution. So, kung mapapansin nyo, para lang tayo nagda-direct sub. So, kung ano yung value dito ng x, isa-substitute nyo lang dito. So, however, there are special cases wherein we will encounter an indeterminate form and evaluate limits approaching infinity. So, ano ba yung indeterminate form? Sabi dito, it occurs only to functions expressed in a fractional form. Kasi nagiging indeterminate yung function natin kapag yung value natin is 0 yung ilalim. So, 'di ba, kapag any number i-divide mo sa 0 is math error or undefined. So, yan, yung form na yan is tinatawag nating indeterminate form. So, sabi dito, consider the function defined by, so yung function natin is in a fractional form, may numerator siya and then denominator. Suppose that at x is equal to a, so kunwari may value tayong, given value tayo ng x, wherein yung value ng x na yun, kapag sinubstitute natin dun sa equation natin sa denominator, nagiging 0 siya. So, therefore, yung function natin becomes undefined. So, let's have some example. So, if we are going to evaluate the limit of x squared minus 4 divided by x minus 2 as x approaches to 2, so, ayan, kung gagamitan natin siya ng direct substitution, magiging undefined yung limit natin. So, ayan. Ano ba yung magiging solution naman natin dito? So, dito, ang gagawin is, we are going to simplify the expression. So, paano nyo matatansya or masasabi na kailangan nyong isimplify yung function natin. So, mapapansin niyo na pwede siyang isimplify since mas mataas yung degree ng numerator natin kaysa sa denominator. So, sa numerator, we have a second degree of x and sa denominator is first degree. So, meaning, pwede nating kunin yung factor nitong numerator and then tingnan natin kung pwede tayong mag-cancel out. So, dito, yung factor ni x squared minus 4 is equivalent to x plus 2 times x minus 2. So, paki-recall din yung yung pag-factor sa algebra, nung special product. So, kailangan ninyo yun dito, para mabilis kayong mag-factor out. So, katulad nung sa FOIL method, sa square of a binomial. So, let's say, dito sa special cases, halimbawa, diba, special product, a squared plus minus b squared is equal to a minus b times a plus b. So, meron din naman tayong a cube minus b cube, so, etc. So, yan, para makakatulong yun para mapabilis yung pag-simplify nyo ng expression. So, ayan. So, ngayon, pagka-factor out natin, pwede pa lang i-cancel out yung expression natin sa denominator. So, ang natira is si x plus 2. So, we proceed as follows. So, yung original equation natin is na-reduced into x plus 2. So, now, we were able to get the value of the limit of the function. So, ayan. So, na-reduce siya sa x plus 2. So, pag sinubstitute natin yung value ng x na 2, so, maging 2 plus 2. So, therefore, the limit is equal to 4. So, although sa una, medyo mahirap siyang makita agad na pwede pala siyang i-simplify. So, practice lang kayong mag-factor out ng equations and then try to simplify as much as possible. So, ngayon naman, I will discuss about evaluating limit at infinity. So, sabi dito, halimbawa, yung case natin is yung x approaches infinity. So, x becomes infinite. So, ano ba yung magiging conclusion natin dun or solution? So, sabi dito, dumagdag na ito sa theorem. Theorems on limit. So, sabi dito, the limits of 1 over x as x approaches to 0 is, as x approaches infinity is equal to 0. So, bakit nangyari yun? Na yung limit ni 1 over x as x approaches infinity is equal to 0. So, 'di ba? Halimbawa, pag sinabing approaching infinity, so large values na yung pinag-uusapan natin. Let's say 1 million. So, kapag yung 1 is dinivide natin by 1 million, ang sagot is 0.0000501. So, this expression is also approximately equal to 0. So, therefore pala, kapag naka-form tayo ng ganitong equation, so, at in-evaluate natin yung x approaching infinity, mag-i-equal pala siya into 0. So, yun yung theorem number 9. So, paano natin siya i-apply? So, halimbawa, meron tayong limit of 4 over x squared as x approaches infinity. So, ang mangyayari lang, hanapin lang natin or sundin lang natin yung form na 1 over x sa pag-evaluate ng limit niya. So, this one, yan. So, ayun na yung form na 1 over x, tas isa-substitute mo si infinity. So, that is equal to 0. Ayan. So, another example. Ayan. Yan. Evaluate the limit of 4x is 4x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6 all over 2x cubed plus 5x plus 3. So, para ma-evaluate mo yung limit niya, so take note, limit to at infinity. So, gagawin nyo lang to kapag yung x is approaching infinity. So, ang gagawin nyo, i-divide nyo both the numerator and the denominator by the highest power of x. So, ang titingnan nyo, both the numerator and denominator, ano ba yung highest degree of x? So, sa case na to, that is x cubed. So, pareho nating i-divide yung taas at baba. So, kapag dinivide natin siya, individually, ayan. So, makakancel yung x cubed this becomes 4 plus, so 3x squared divided by x cubed, that is 3 over x, and then minus 6 over x cubed. So ganun lang din yung sa denominator niya. So this simplifies to this expression. So after nitong expression na to, ano nang kasunod? So evaluate natin yung limit. Ano? Yan. So, the limit of 4 as x approaches to 0 is 4. Since wala naman tayo ditong sa-substitutean na value ng x. And then, pagdating kay 3 over x, pwedeng i-factor out mo si 3. So, natira dun si 1 over x. So, yung expression na to, this is equal to 0 according to theorem 9. And then, minus 6 times the limit of 1x cubed. So, ito ay tatlong 1 over x times 1 over x lang. Ano? So, this is also 0. So, yan. Ito na yung magiging sagot. 4 over 2, that is 2 yung limit daw niya. Ano? So, ang shortcut dito is lahat nung ano niya, nung expression na, 'di ba, yung highest degree natin is 3. So, lahat ng terms na may less than 3 yung degrees ng x is mazi-zero. So, yun lang yung shortcut doon. Ano? So, kaya ang natira is si 4 and 2. So, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So, that is all for the concept of the limit of a function. So, practice the solving problems. So, yun. Thank you.